Hello and happy Sunday. So I had my meet last weekend, and what a time! What a time! It was it was so crazy. I actually debated whether or not to have a voice recording over this video, just cause really soaking in the energy of a meet requires a little bit of just hearing the sounds of the meet. But essentially, what happened is you would notice in this video, there's only one video of a squat, and typically you expect three squat attempts, three bench attempts, three deadlift attempts. But I only did one squat attempt because I tore my quad in the squat attempt. It was a bit of a bummer because of course, this is my first meet. I've been training for this meet for quite a while. Really excited about the meet, and essentially, I just went down on the squat.
Let's go,
I heard
MK!
ah going down on the squat. I actually thought people were clapping for me, but then it was actually my quad fibers tearing in real time. I still got the squat up, but of course, after the squat, like my leg was like a balloon. So I was wondering how I was gonna get through the rest of the meet because I still had two squat attempts, two bench attempts, and three bench and three deadlift attempts to go. And it hurt a lot. I had to use a lot of ice. But I just said F it, and I was gonna send it. Even on the bench, I was still feeling the quad, so I couldn't use any leg drive on the bench. So I think my bench suffered a bit. I would probably have been able to put up a bigger bench if I hadn't torn my quad. I was going for 210 pounds, 220 pounds, 230 pounds on the bench. I got the 220 pounds up, but just back on the squats. This is why it's important to choose conservative starting numbers, especially for a beginner in powerlifting. The only reason I got that squat first attempt
Let's
up,
go, bro. It's
even though I
lightweight.
tore my quad, is because it's a weight I'm extremely comfortable with. Like I'd hit this weight for sets of triples in the gym, 2 by 3, 1 by 3. I had it for top singles many times. I was very comfortable with that weight. So that's the reason why I got it up, regardless of the fact that my quad had torn.
Let's go, MK.
If I had
Let's
chosen
go,
anything
MK.
that I could probably hit on a really good day, but just wasn't comfortable with, if I tore my quad, I wouldn't have gotten it up. And the reason I tore my
We
quad
ready.
is
We
because I was
solid.
cold. It wasn't because it was anything that was too crazy for me. I was just cold. Timing warm-ups, I
Yes,
realized from
sir.
this meet, is extremely important, especially when you're working with very heavy weights. Like on the bench press, it's not as important because the weights I'm working with aren't too heavy. But timing warm-ups is very important for squat, for deadlift, at least for me, because I'm working with, pretty sizable weights. What happened is that I timed my warm-up to end right when essentially the first piss in my flight was going. But because I was meant to do the heaviest first attempt in my flight, I was the last in my flight, and there were about 14 competitors in my fight. So essentially, by the time it got to my point, I was already cold. So essentially, my quad was like, "What the hell?" I just went on me. But it was still cool. It was still a great time. I was a little bit worried about how I was gonna get along, but the bench still went okay. I will probably have gotten this 105 kilograms up. But of course, I failed the bench just because I had no leg drive. So it was very hard because I'm used to using leg drive, right? So it was hard to get the weight up without using any leg drive at all. So it was almost like what's it called, a
Let's
sputtle
go,
press,
baby.
when you have your feet up, or I think there's a word for it. I don't think it's a sputtle press, but it's actually the press where you have your
Easy.
feet up, no leg drive. So of course, it's a little bit harder. But still, I'm extremely happy with how my bench press has moved. So now,
Right there,
big
baby.
question is, torn quad, how does this person do deadlifts? And the answer is, I do not know. But this person did it this time.
Make it
It
fly.
was pretty absurd. On the deadlifts, that's what I was most worried about. Like I knew I wasn't too honestly, I didn't really plan on pushing my bench too much anyways. Um, but the deadlift, I wanted to, put a good number up
Let's
on the
go.
deadlift, and I had planned my attempts to be 217.5 kilograms, 480 pounds, then about 500 pounds, and about 520 pounds. And then I was warming up, I was still feeling the quad, and I was wondering, should I, be conservative? But I just said, F it, I'm gonna just send it. I'm just gonna, like this is my first time competing. I'm gonna regret if I don't, put in a good performance, like a performance I'm comfortable with. Not good relative to the people out there, but good relative to what I, had envisioned would be a good performance. I still think I maybe underperformed a little bit, especially in the squats, but in everything else, I did either as well as I wanted to do, or even better, especially given the circumstances. Deadlifts, I warmed up, they felt good. I went up there, put up my 40-pound deadlift opener, and I knew I was going to smoke that 40-pound deadlift opener. Like, throughout my time in the gym, my deadlift actually turned out to be one of my more
It's
comfortable
about that time,
lifts.
baby.
Even though I love squatting, deadlifting turned out to be, it was a great training block for deadlifts for me. And when I was warming up, I was telling my handler, my coach that, yeah, like, dude, I'm gonna smoke these deadlifts. I just knew it. You just feel when you're about to have a good day. And I was feeling it. I was feeling good. Um, you know, the 40 pounds went up well, 500 pounds went up well. I was gonna go up by 20 pounds, but I said, you know what? F this, let's go up by 30 pounds. I went to 530 pounds. Because that was my estimated training max just based on my training cycle and the numbers, I guess the rep PRs I was putting up. So if you throw the number into a one rep max calculator, it was estimated that my one rep max was about 530 pounds. So I knew I had it in me, but the question was, is this a good enough day to put this number up? And I did put it up. But I've noticed something is that I have a bit of a sticking point at lockout, like off the ground, I'm still quick. Even though I had the two on quad, I was still quick off the ground. Um, but lockout could suffer a little bit. But I won the competition. I won my weight class. There were people that were, in my weight class, but there's just in a different, I guess, training category, like juniors and all that stuff. But in the men's open 82.5 kilo weight class, I had the highest total. What a time. I'm injured right now. My quad is can't support weight on the quad, but no regrets. What a time. Cheers and have a great day.